Hello, listeners, and welcome to another episode of 裏技英語. My name is BJ Fox, and I'm here. I'm actually on Zoom again. We're back on Zoom with Ishii Terumi.
皆さん、こんにちは。ポッドキャスト裏技英語へようこそ。どうも、石井てるみです。今回はちょっとたまたままた Zoom で収録していますけれども、はい、お互い顔を見てますよ。何ですか、BJ?
For a number of reasons we can't describe.
まあいろいろありまして、はい、Zoom なんですけれども、別に深い意味はないですし、これからも Zoom ということもないですので、はい、そんな形で今週もレコーディングしてまいります。
Yeah, and it's an exciting day today because it's another 裏技 interview, Terumi.
やった裏技インタビューがやってまいりました So?
Well, it's interesting because we're going to talk to someone who I've had let's say a professional relationship with for over a year.
Yep. Professional relationship?
Well, like a relationship through work.
Okay. Relationship ってあれだね。Relationship ってほら、we had a relationship って言ったら
It's not Sex and the City. Not everything needs to be seen through the lens of Sex and the City.
そうなんだけど、we had a relationship って言えばなんか関係そういうことがあったって意味だけども、we had a professional relationship って言うと全然違う意味になるっていうのがまたちょっと。
Well, actually, I'm gonna pick you up there. I think if you said I had a relationship, we had a relationship, that has no kind of Sex and the City meaning. We were in a relationship. We were in a relationship would imply that. And
そうですか。
So that's it. In and at. Had a, in a.
We had a はどういう意味じゃ?
Just we had a 関係性。
そうなのね。We were in a relationship.
Means
はい。一つ勉強になりました。
Yeah. So basically, a few years ago, Terumi, do you remember we went into a studio and we recorded some audio and wrote an article for CNN Express, an excellent magazine.
はい、CNN English Express という英語のマガジーンに私たち、なんて言うんでしょうね、対話？はい、インタビューというかね、はい、なんかディスカッションする模様を収録してもらいましたよね。掲載していただきましたね。
And well, about 6 months after that, the editor reached out to me and said, we've got another writer, a columnist for our magazine, and she is writing a book and they would like you to assist on the book, BJ.
へえ、その CNN English Express の編集の方を通じて、とある方が本を書いていると、おそらくね、英語に関する本なんでしょうね。BJ がそれのお手伝いをできないかという、そんな打診があったのね。
Yeah, so the writer is a professional translator called Miho Hashimoto, and she writes a monthly column called, I'm going to say in Japanese, 英語にないなら作っちゃえ。
英語にないなら作っちゃえというコラムを執筆していらっしゃる橋本美穂さん、Professional Interpreter なんですね。
And that column was being turned into a book, a very interesting book, and they wanted my humorous input onto some of the columns.
そうなの？そのネイティブイングリッシュスピーカーのインサイト、その日本にも住んでて日本語もわかる BJ のインサイトが欲しかったんじゃなくて、本当？なんかコミックなちょっとファニーなインサイトが欲しかったのかしら？
Well,
Are you sure?
Maybe it was just the bilingual aspect. Who knows? But anyway,
Who knows?
Well, I've been working on the book for about a year. It was great fun. It came out earlier this year in 2023, and I've always wanted to meet Miho herself, and also I thought she'd be a great guest for the podcast because I think, Terumi, professional translator, professional interpreter is probably one of the jobs a lot of our listeners think they might want to be in the future.
プロの通訳というのは英語をやっている人だったら誰しもが憧れるお仕事ですものね。そんな方が今日裏技インタビューのゲストに来てくださっているということでしょうか？
Yeah, and also actually, not just professional, but if you work in a 外資系 and you are bilingual, one day you will end up doing some interpreting. It's just part of the job. You will be talking.
そうですね。
Yeah.
英語もできて日本語もできて外資系企業で働いていれば、まあね、英語話者と日本語話者の架け橋となるような役割は避けて通れないと言いますかね。そういったお仕事は必ずやることになりますよね。
So I thought, I want to meet this lady. What a perfect guest for our podcast. So shall we welcome onto 裏技英語、橋本美穂。
こんにちは。 Hi, everyone. This is Miho Hashimoto, the translator.
The translator or interpreter? Which is it?
It goes both ways.
あ、よかった。私インタープリターって言っちゃったけれども、別にどちらでも OK ですか？
That is the official. I think translator is like the nickname we translate.
Okay.
ニックネーム？
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't call us conference interpreter every time, so.
ほうほうほうほう。そうか、会議通訳をしていらっしゃるんですよね。
So there's various types of interpreters.
Yeah.
And it depends on which field you translate in. See, interpretation and translation is just interchangeable. I translate in the corporate circle. So I'm also called a business interpreter.
へえ、企業通訳をすることもある。ということはビジネスの会議とか、会社向けのインターナルなミーティングとか、そういったところでのそういったところでの通訳もされているんですね。
Yes, I primarily work with companies.
そうなんだ。What, BJ?
Well, do you know what I want to say? I just want to first say, hello, Miho.
Hi. Hi, BJ. And hi, Terumi. It's an honor to meet you finally. And thank you so
こんに
much.
ちは。こちらこそありがとうございます。
And thank you for the book, BJ.
Oh, thank you. It was wonderful. It was a really good experience contributing to that book. So, Miho, how are you today?
Oh, I'm great. I'm quite busy this year coming out of the pandemic. Everybody's back in the meeting rooms.
Oh, really?
パンデミックの間は、いわゆるその会議ですとか、その企業に出向いてのみんなが顔を突き合わせてのミーティングというのはしばらく減っていたけれども、そういうのが戻ってきて、今大忙し。
So there was no traveling, right?
Yeah.
There is no face-to-face. Everybody was working from home. But finally, people are on the planes, in the meeting rooms, shaking hands now. It's great.
Yeah. Actually, here's a question, Miho. I'm going straight into a question that was not on the Anketo beforehand. Is there a difference between translating or interpreting on Zoom versus in a meeting room?
Oh, yes. The amount of non-linguistic information is much less when you're on Zoom. Body language. And in Japanese, they say 空気を読む. Feel the vibe.
Yeah.
You don't get any vibe on Zoom. So you have to literally listen to the words when translating online.
やっぱりオンラインだと、これ日本語同士でも普通に、例えば面接とか会議でも言葉しか伝わってこないから、その言語以外でのコミュニケーション、なんかボディーランゲージだったり雰囲気だったり空気を読むとか、そういったことがやっぱりオンラインだと伝わりづらかったというわけですね。
Non-verbal communication actually helps a lot in communicating. So if you don't have that, you really have to articulate your thoughts more with words.
Okay. And can I just pick you up there? I liked your translation of Kukio Yomu was it feel the vibe?
Feel the vibe.
Yes.
I think we've said read the room before, read the room, but I like that translation as well.
Yes.
Feel the vibes. Awesome. Okay, so we had a quick introduction, but let's go back to what you were saying at the beginning. You are first and foremost a business interpreter, you said, or
Yes.
corporate interpreter.
Exactly.
Okay. What does that look like on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, yes. So any kind of corporate activity that requires that is a gathering of a non-Japanese speaking person and a Japanese speaking person. So I translate between English and Japanese. So anything ranging from meetings to presentations to seminars to events to press conferences or negotiations about a multi-million M&A deal.
へえ、企業のミーティング、プレゼン、セミナー会議から交渉まで。これは何か特定の美穂さんにとってのクライアント企業といいますか、どこかに専属なのか、それとももういろいろな企業からランダムに頼まれるんですか？
Yes, I'm a freelancer. So I get orders from companies that I've, recently, since I'm in my 18th year, I do get a lot of repeat orders. I mean, it's a problem if you don't get repeat orders, so I do.
そうですよね。繰り返し頼まれるというのがフリーランスとしては、そうですね。1回限りだとなんかあれだったかなってなっちゃいますけれども、もう18年もやっていらして、じゃあある程度その固定のこのクライアントといいますか、固定のこの企業にずっとついているみたいな会社がいくつかあるわけですね。
Yes.
Well,
So,
you could say, Tenemy, companies that she has a relationship with, not in a relationship with, but has a relationship with.
そうですね。この場合は has a relationship ということですね。
Yeah.
the relationship is actually always spot orders. So there is no guarantee that you will get another order. Never. This is what I like about the job.
どういうことですか？長期的な契約とかがないってことで、一回一回の依頼ってことなんですか？
Yes, it's for one meeting. It's an hour, for example.
Why do you like about that?
Yeah, that sounds stressful.
Yeah. To me, it would be very stressful.
You know, you only live once, I believe.
Yeah.
And I want to give it my all. Every day. Every hour. Well, that makes me sound like a really, very maybe hyperactive person. Of course, I take a break, I rest. But when I'm on the job, I want to give it my all. And it's sort of like a challenge to myself. That's the element I actually enjoy.
そっか、毎回もう 120% 出し切るというのがご自身にとってご自分へのチャレンジ、その挑戦を毎回楽しんでいらっしゃるということですか？
Yes. Maybe if it's hard to imagine, you can just relate it to some athlete or an ice skater or something like that.
アスリートも一つの試合にかけるのと似ているということですか？
Yes.
Hey, I'm going to take it one level further. I think you could relate that attitude to comedians as well.
Yes.
Treating every 10 minutes on the stage as its own thing, giving everything because you're only as good as your last gig.
And BJ, when you're on that stage, I can relate to that because you don't want to be redundant. Every word should count and you don't want redundancy. So I'm sure you're using a lot of nerves, just like me.
その一回のステージでもうちょっとでもなんか長ったらしくならないように過不足なくというか、もうスパスパと一瞬の間で笑いを取るということをね、コメディアンはステージの上で考えているというところもまた通訳と似ているということですか？
What do you think, BJ? I can really relate.
Yeah, I think I can relate because certainly when you're on stage, every moment counts, every word counts, and one little slip up can ruin the entire tempo, and then the entire mood goes.
That's it.
Question, Miho.
Yes.
You said you've had some interpreting for some mega $1 million deals. Have you ever made a mistake? Have you
yes.
How big a mistake?
Little mistakes that can be corrected on the spot.
Okay.
The most important thing is not noticing your own mistakes. Now, I'm not saying mistakes are welcomed, but after all, the type of translation we're doing is on the spot, real time.
Yeah.
Which means with the difference in the structure of the sentence, we have to do a little bit of assuming or guessing what they will say. And we sometimes guess wrong. All we need to do is correct it.
Okay.
交渉がもうその場でリアルタイムで進んでいくから、ちょっとずつ予測しながら何を言うかというのを考えていらっしゃるけれども、それがちょっと違ったりすると、まあでもその場でまた修正していくということになっていくわけですね。
Yes, it's a teamwork. The client might catch it. That's fine. They'll say, 橋本さん違うよ。それはこういう意味。And I will say, yes, okay. And I will translate that. So that's the part of interpreting. Sometimes we interpret it wrong.
Okay.
先ほどその translate と interpret という言葉2つ出てきてますけれども、I don't really know the difference between translating and interpreting.
Interpret は解釈を間違えちゃう。Translate は翻訳ですけど、解釈を間違えたら翻訳も間違えるじゃないですか。
そういうことか。
で、プロはそこら辺をこう厳密に言うんですけど、一般の方は別にどっちでもいいじゃないですか。Interpreter, translator, whatever だけ
この
ど。
どっちの言葉を使うかというところではね。はあはあはあ。でもお仕事でやられていることはインタープレーティングしながらトランスレーティングしているということですよね。
Yes.
どっちも器用にやられていくということですもんね。
Because after all, it's not word for word translation at all.
一言一句をね、英語から日本語に対応して訳すだけじゃもちろんないですからね。もうそれよりももっと深いところまで解釈しながら文脈とかも伝えるところまでがお仕事ですものね。
Yes.
Okay. Miho, if you allow me, may I take a step back? You have amazing English. What is your background? Why do you speak with such great English?
Oh, thank you. So it's not perfect, but I think there's two parts to it.
Yeah.
One is the accent, I guess. I hope it is supposed to sound American. Because
Very American. Yeah,
Okay.
Very American. Yeah.
I spent my elementary school days 5 years in California.
Okay.
Yeah. So this accent comes from San Francisco. Now, the other thing is the vocabulary. I came back from the States when I was 11. So my vocabulary level was 11 years old when I came back.
小学校の時に5年間サンフランシスコに住んでらっしゃった。ってことは5、6歳から6歳から11歳とかそのあたりですか？
その通りです。6から11です。
6から11歳の時にアメリカで育ちまして、11歳の時に日本に戻ってこられたと。で、その時点だと英語の語彙としては、11歳の語彙とともに戻ってくる。ちなみにお家では日本語をお話ししてました？
そうですね。So it gets mixed up in the 5 years. In the 5 years, you're like 100% Japanese. When you leave at 11, you're like almost 90% American. So
Okay. But you still spoke Japanese?
yes, I think so.
Yeah.
But my Japanese grades were declining every year, obviously. So the thing, in terms of the original question from BJ, in order to become a professional translator, you can't be 11 years old in your English level. So I did struggle to bring it up to a grown-ups level, and furthermore to a business level. It took a lot of practice and OJT and lots of tangocho and all the.
What's OJT? What's OJT?
Oh, OJT is on the job training. So I would pick up some words from the job and learn that. And so I learned to improve my English on the job.
On the job.
11歳で帰国されてからは、例えば中学校とかは日本の学校に通われたんですか？それともなんかインターナショナルスクールみたいなところに入ったりされたんですか？
I went to Genchiko. I always liked Genchiko, So I went back to Kobe. So I went to just an ordinary public school and I focused on the Japanese education from there on and just let my English sit.
じゃあ一旦英語は脇に置いといて、神戸に帰国して現地の日本の公立の小学校に通われて、日本の教育をそこからは中学校も高校もそういうことですか？
中高と and learned 関西弁。
関西弁も身につけ
バッチリよ。
じゃあそうなんですね。全然お話しされている分には、ね、日本語で関西弁まだ出てきてないけど聞いてみたいなという気がしてきましたけれどもあれです、じゃああれですか、関西弁みたいに喋ってみよう。
何ですか？
何ですか？学校でそうやねせやねんな。じゃあ中学校1年生から、日本の英語教育受けはったん？
ほとんど先生の発音聞いて内心直しとったかもしれん。アクセント先生ちょっとちゃうでそれって思いながらおとなしくしてました。
でもじゃあ一応日本のいわゆるその中学校1年生の This is a pen みたいな授業も受けたんですね。
受けました。ずーっと97点とか98点とか100点とかそんな感じでしたけど、そうなりますよね。それはそれはいいんですけど、英検をねちゃんと並行して受けてたんですよってなんか関西弁になっちゃったけど、
やった
このね、
引き出せたぞ、私。はい、
英検がダメなんですわ。
へえ。なんでです
Because my English level is 11 years old, right? And you try 英検1級, there's all these business jargon which I don't even understand the concept of.
そうですね、確かに。英検1級とか TOEIC とかもね、ビジネス英語だから小学生の語彙だと知らない言葉とか世界がいっぱい出てきますもんね。
So, it was tough.
Tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, is Miho's background not too dissimilar to yours? You went over when you were quite young.
私は確かに美穂さんとパターンは似てるかもしれないですけど、私は4歳の時に行って6歳の時に帰ってきたので、多分456の3年間海外にいたんですけれども、だから、中学校1年生で英語を喋る勉強するまでだから小学校6年間分の何も英語にほとんど触れてない時期があったので、もうちょっと英語を忘れている量が多いと思いますね。あとまあ覚えてたところで6歳の英語なので、っていうね。
そこですよね。だって
そこですね。
私大学を出てキャノンにね普通に総合職で勤めてたんですけど、そこでは通訳はしていなかったんです。だけども、ちょっとしたね外国人とのビジネスミーティングに出た時に、you know?kinda とか言っててそういう言葉はビジネスでは使わないんだよって優しく外国人の方に教えてもらいました。
ね、わからないですもんね。この言い方がビジネス的に失礼なのかどうなのか。私も会社入ってはーいって言ったら、はいは短く言いなさいって怒られましたもん。なんか
ニュアンスありますよね。
そうニュアンスじゃ知らなくて、あ、そうなんだと思って。そうだからね、子供の時だけ住んでてもね、大人の英語を知ってるわけじゃないですもんね。
そうなんですよ。目上のビジネスマンに向かって、いやいやってやっちゃって
やっちゃいますよね。こちらはね、コミュニケーションを積極的に取ってるつもりでもね。
まあ止まってますからね、11歳で。
じゃあ新卒でそのキャノンに入られて、その後は How did you become a translator?
So after 9 years in Canon, I wanted to do something else. Again, because you live only once. And
live only once.
The beautiful problem with the company that I was working for was that it was way too safe. Like my whole life, 終身雇用 was guaranteed. And I was not quite happy about that.
いい意味で会社が安泰すぎて40年後の自分が見えてしまったわけですね。
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't know what I had in me, but I knew I can do more. Something.
何かもうちょっと知らない自分に会いたいと。
ねえ、BJ、こういう気持ちなんていうの？ I got restless. なんていうんだろう？ I was like,
Do you know, I would say
じっとしてられない。
Ants in your pants.
Ants in pants.
Yeah, ants in your pants.
Really? Did you just make that up, or does that exist?
It's like when you can't sit still. You can't sit still. You've got ants in your pants.
すごいいいじゃんそのフレーズ。
Yeah, maybe it's British, but yeah, I get it as well. You feel like weirdly frustrated, but you're not sure why, and you feel like it's time to roll the dice.
Yes, and I absolutely had too much energy. Because I was playing PlayStation games at home,
really?
Lots of energy. And my husband said, Miho, if you can use that energy somewhere else that may be a little bit more productive, that got me thinking.
May I ask which game?
Oh, Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid.
メタルギアソリッド。
And a lot of others.
Very domestic.
Very domestic.
持て余してたんですね。じゃあエネルギーと時間と能力と。
And I did find out that I have a lot of concentration because I can be on PlayStation for like 8 hours.
Wow.
わお、ずっと連続でですか？
Yes.
すごい集中力。やっぱ集中力ないとね、通訳もできないですものね。
そうね。
Okay.
Okay, so you quit Canon, and then how do you make that transfer?
Oh, I started out as a 派遣通訳. So all I needed to do was register myself in a 通訳派遣会社.
通訳になろうというところに迷いはなかったんですか？会社を辞めて次何かやろうっていう時に何にしようじゃなくてやるならもう通訳だなっていう一択だったんですか？
So, yes, but that makes me sound like a really confident person. I'll tell you the truth. Somebody told me that I would be a very good interpreter.
Oh.
And
Somebody.
yes, actually the president of the 派遣会社. So I wasn't ready to leave such a wonderful, safe company yet.
Yeah.
But I had too much time on my hands, so I decided to do some document translation just to get a few more bucks.
Yeah. Side hustle. We call that a side hustle.
Yes.
副業をこっそりと始めたわけですね。
Yes. But the president of the 通訳翻訳 agency said, "Aha! You are not 翻訳. You are 通訳. I know you'll be a good one," she said.
それは美穂さんに実際にお会いして、なんかそのテキストもいいけれどもこうお話ししてこのライブリーにおしゃべりする様子とかコミュニケーションがお上手な様子を見てあなたはいい通訳になるわよってその方が言ったっていう感じです。
そうなんです。And
Whoa.
actually on my CV it says I had graduated サイマルアカデミー which is 通訳技術の学校。That's another story.
Okay.
Okay. その学校はあれですか？もうちょっと前に出られてたんですか？通訳の学校は。
So what happened is that although I was not translating in Canon, they asked me to translate a meeting and I couldn't do it at all. And I was so frustrated about myself because I thought, I'm bilingual. Why is it that I can't translate? It was a huge question, ne? So I went to the school to find out why.
そういったことがあったんですね。それってあれキャノンの中でそういった経験があったっておっしゃいました？
Yes, I went after work at nighttime.
ははは。キャノンの中で一度会議通訳を頼まれたらバイリンガルのに全然できなくてなんでってなって
そうそう。
じゃあ学校に行こうということで
そうなんですよ。
仕事終わった後にその通訳の学校に通うようになったんですね。
So, not because I wanted to become an interpreter, but just because I wanted to find out why. It's a huge question. I'm bilingual. Why can't I translate? What's missing?
両方喋れるのになんで会議の通訳ができないのかっていうその疑問から学校にでも実際足を運ぶっていうのがまたすごい行動力ですね。
I think so too. I'm a little bit crazy. I went for 3.5 years.
Wow.
3年半も通われたんだ。
And I graduated.
それキャノンで働きながら通訳学校いつの間にか卒業してと。
そうなんです。So I was ready. I was school ready, not street ready, but.
でもまあ未来への準備はできていたわけですね。ある意味。
Can I say two things I really enjoy about the way you did things? Is first, you said on-the-job training. So you did a lot of the learning on the job, which I think is important. The second thing, you did all the steps while you're working. I hear a lot of people when they think they're going to make the next step to something else, they say, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to do everything. And it puts a lot of pressure on that other business to succeed. But the way you kind of set everything up for success while keeping a steady job going.
Thank you. It's not like I had a clear plan. I'm not that smart. But I just get frustrated when I thought I can do something, but I can't. It's like, why? If somebody wants me to sing like Mariah Carey, I know I can't. So I can give up pretty easily. I won't even try. But if it's something that I thought I can do, but I can't, I get the urge to conquer it.
できるだろうなと思ってたのにできなかったところにすごいフラストレーションを感じたわけですね。
It's just 自己満足よ。
いやでもそういうところから始まったんですね。
Yes.
美穂さんの通訳人生は。
Yes.
We've talked a lot about today, really interesting insights into your background, but could we talk about the elephant in the room? You wrote a book called 英語にないならスクチャイ. I helped. I contributed a little bit. Now, tell us about the book, but first, could you tell us how to translate elephant in the room?
Elephant in the room? Well, the literal translation is 部屋の中の象, but that doesn't mean anything.
No.
I would say 見て見ぬふりに、全員が見て見ぬふりの話題、大きな問題とか、まだ触れられていない話とか。
Okay.
だから本当に一語一語ただ日本語訳するのではなく、それが何を意味しているのか、みんなにとって何なのかっていうところも組んで言葉にされるわけですね。
Right. Sometimes there already is a nice 意訳, but if there isn't, you have to make it up.
だから英語にないなら作っちゃえということなんですね。
Yes.
So I guess elephant in the room is the other way around. 日本語にないなら作っちゃえ。
そうね。
Yeah, elephant in the room. So just to be clear for our listeners, an elephant in the room is a topic that everyone knows, but no one has mentioned.
まだ誰も触れていない話題ね。
要するに人生で想定していなかったことが起きてしまって、例えば配偶者が急に亡くなってしまってみたいな、そういった時に周りはどうするべきかみたいなことが書かれていたんですけれども、例えばその会議室とかで人が集まって、その誰かの大事な人が亡くなったっていうのってみんな触れづらいけれども、みんながもう知ってるんだけれども触れづらいものだから Elephant in the room になってるみたいな感じで、その時はその本に登場してたんですよね。
That is an excellent example. Yeah, I was actually thinking of an example of when, recently there's been a lot of news about layoffs, people being fired or restructured in the tech industries. Now, I imagine when you go to work, you're hearing a lot of negative news. That's like an elephant in the room. No one wants to talk about it, but you want to hear from your boss. That's an example of an elephant in the room.
例えばこの間の裏技英語で公開収録をしたんですね。で、私がすごいずっと彼氏がいなかったもので、その婚活してるみたいなこともこのポッドキャストですごい話してたんですね。なんですけど、10年ぶりに彼氏ができたって言って、それをポッドキャストとかでもうだんだん話してるんですけれども、そのことについてこの間の公開収録で全然自分から言うのも変だし、 BJ も言わなかったんだけれども、そのイベントが終わった後にリスナーさんたちからあれどうなってたんですかってすごい言われて、そんなどうなってるのかみんな興味持ってくれてるなら全然聞いてくれてよかったのにみたいな。
みんな遠慮してたんだ。
遠慮してくれちゃってたんですよ。全然しなくてよかったのに。
だってプライベートだもんね。
そうですね。そうだから、でも私としては全然ね、質問してもらえたら いっぱい喋ったんですけど、でもね、他にもお客さんもいるし、そんな中で手を挙げてそういう質問するのどうなのかなって、みんなナイスな大人たちが配慮してくれて、その場では誰も質問しなかったんですけれども、あの状況って今思うとエレファントインザルームだったなと思って。
Yes.
Excellent example. Excellent. That is a perfect example of an elephant in the room. There was tension. You could feel the tension. Everyone wanted to talk about it, but no one was brave enough to mention it.
私なんかその時気づきもしなくて、今思えば自分から言えばよかったななんて思いますけどね。anyways, すいません、下世話なね、例えになってしまって申し訳ないですけど。
No, that's perfect.
Okay, but that's an example of the opposite of what you're doing. That's 日本語にないなら。So tell us how the book comes about. How do you find the phrases that you choose?
Oh, yes. So there's 53 phrases in the book, and actually I didn't choose them. I chose them together with the editors of CNN English Express.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it has to be a little bit challenging for me, for real, right?
Yeah.
And so the editors would give me a list of Japanese words that are seemingly difficult to translate. Yeah. And I, as a professional translator, would be able to translate that immediately, about 50% of them.
Okay. Okay.
And then the remaining 50,
Yep.
I would start looking into them and figure out which ones I can come up with interesting and unique English words.
何か何でしょう。どれか例を教えていただけませんか？
Sure. So since this is a monthly column,
Yeah.
it's always a race against the clock. Sometimes I'm not 100% satisfied with the English that I came up with, but I have to submit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the ones I'm really happy about is, for example, ポンコツ.
ポンコツ
ポンコツ。
あの人ポンコツだよとかね。
そうそう。
あの人というか、このマシンはポンコツだよとか言いますけども。
And I translated it into dumpster quality.
Dumpster quality.
Dumpster quality.
Now,
wow.
refresh my memory. What did konkotsu mean?
ポンコツは It's worn out and useless. 老朽化して役に立たないこと。ね。だから、if it is literal translation and you hear ポンコツ, you will say it's old and useless.
Yeah.
But my philosophy is the Japanese didn't say it's old and useless. It said ポンコツ, which is fun, right?
Yeah.
そう、ちょっとポップな響きですもんね。
Yeah.
可愛らしくもありますし。
And I call that impact compact.
Impact compact.
Impact compact.
Just like your stand-up comedies, BJ, because it has to be short, concise, and impactful.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you lose the rhythm of ponkotsu, you lose the fun of the word.
Yeah.
And
Konkotsu.
and ultimately, I wanted people to snicker a little bit when they hear the word.
Yeah. Dumpster quality.
You have-
元の言葉のインパクト、コンパクトっていうのも再現しないといけないわけですね。
そう。
難しい。
だから、
That is hard.
そう、意訳を超えて、飛躍をしたいわけ。
わあ出ました
飛躍の役は、役ね。訳語の役ね。
訳詞の訳なわけですね。
躍動感の役じゃなくて。
leap とトランスレーションが掛け合わさってるわけですね。
Exactly! That's
わ
another
あかっ
pun!
こいい。
I love puns. 難しいよね。ダジャレの役、BJ.
It is hard. It is hard.
Oh, another one.
Okay, go.
ブラック企業。
Oh,
Oh!
perfect for us because we had this, and you know what? We translated it, and it was not a hiaku. I think we called it a toxic company with disregard for your time constraints or something, like a really long word.
Right, right.
So
ちょっ
what
と
is
コンパクトじゃないかもしれないですね。
It's okay. It's okay because you get the meaning across. But this 英語にないなら作っちゃえ pushes it further. And I
Go
came
for it.
up with merciless.com.
merciless.com?
merciless.com ドットコムのところはどういうことですか？
It's the name of a company. The company
Yeah.
name is Merciless. How awful is
へ
that?
ーそういうことか。面白い。超クリエイティブですね。
Thank you.
I think that's that is a great translation because .com is a signifier for a company. 英語にないなら作っちゃえ is out on Amazon. I helped. It was a great project to work on. If you want to have a funny take, if you like the humor aspects of Urawaza Eigo, we do recommend this book as well. It was fun for me to work on. There's a little comment from me every single time as well.
I loved your comments. They're really inspiring. And I think we were able to have a really multicultural dialogue here, different perspectives.
Oh, thank you very much. I like I said when I spoke to you earlier, I enjoyed doing it because it was like a daily challenge for me. I wrote one every single morning, trying to get some ideas. And I found your translations often inspired me to think of my own translations as well.
Thank you.
Can I tell you, you had one which was Itamongachi.
Yes.
I wanted to translate that as the early word catches the worm.
おー、上手。
The early words.
Catches the worm. おー、面白い。So it was adopted or not?
No, the editor said that's not my job to suggest new translations. My job was to give comments.
そうか。
I think we can edit that out.
あなたはそれやんなくていいからって言われちゃったわけですね。
I misunderstood the task. Actually, no, but I enjoyed the whole thing, actually. I found it very interesting. I learned a lot of Japanese as well.
裏技英語の本は進んでないのに、美穂さんの本は楽しかったわけですね。
Do you know what? That's exactly what producer Ruben said. If you're going to do that every morning, why don't you do our book? Okay. Okay.
それだけ美穂さんの本に取り掛かるのが BJ 楽しかったんだね。
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
You
Yeah,
must
yeah,
be
yeah.
really busy. I knew you were busy, but I feel sorry about that.
No.
いいんです、いいんです。それだけ素晴らしい、楽しい本だったということでね、ぜひ皆さんもチェックしてください。英語にないなら作っちゃえ。
Okay. Miho, thank you very much for coming. I think we're going to talk some more, so maybe there will be another episode coming out soon, but thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
ありがとうございました。
So, Tedemi,
はい。
I have to apologize to you and to producer Ruben and to all our listeners for not working on the Urawaza Eigo book. I was working on Hashimoto-san's book instead.
だって橋本さんの本めっちゃ面白そうだもん。Couldn't be helped, I guess.
Couldn't be helped.
やっぱり人間はあれよね。楽しいことを先にやっぱ取り掛かりたくなるから、もうしょうがなかったと思うよ、BJ. I understood.
Do you know what? I think it's more the fact that the editor would write to me and say, you need to do this by this time. And I'll be like, oh, there's a deadline. So often, I think actually it's more deadline reasons that I worked on it.
デッドラインもそうだし、パーツを埋める方がね、その全体をやんなきゃっていう時より気が進んだりしますからね。
Yeah, I found that discussion really interesting because I think there's a danger or a bad habit of thinking that, translating is just putting one word into another. And that often leads into like bad translations. But it was interesting to me to hear that Miho was bilingual, grew up in America, worked in a company, and then when she had to interpret in a meeting, she felt she couldn't do it.
ねえ、これだけバイリンガルの方でも、やっぱり最初その通訳できるかっていうとまた別のスキルが必要だったっていうのは興味深いですよね。
Yeah.
その両方話せるからってできる、誰もができることじゃもちろんないってことですね。
And it made me appreciate how hard you work even more, Tedemi.
あら、嘘。
Yeah.
私への感謝の気持ちを持ってくれているの？
Yeah. So actually, what
やった。
I want to do, I want to hear more about that from Miho in a future episode. I'm going to ask her what she thinks of your ability as a translator.
私のアビリティはいいよ。
But
それ
anyway,
より BJ、それ、I was, there were like 3 impressive words,
oh yeah?
phrases today. So, Miho-san said the word, you only live once,
Yeah.
several times.
Yeah.
YOLO.
YOLO.
YOLO. And I like the phrase you said, ants in pants.
Ants in my pants.
Ants in my pants. これよくない？あとなんか、エレファントインザルームもなんか、エピソードができそうだなという気がしましたけど。
That's true, actually. I think Elephant in the Room could be an episode. I think you only live once could be a great mindset and a great phrase to learn as well. I think ants in my pants, that might be a little bit too British for the...
あ、本当。ちょっとニッチなんだ。
I
でも
don't
立って
know.
もいられない
I'll look into it and see if it warrants another episode itself.
まあ少なくともでも it was like very fun and new to me. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much to Miho, we'll say. Thank you very much to you, Tedemi, as well. We'll be back with more episodes next week and hopefully with more content from Miho Hashimoto as well. Thank you very much. See you next week.
はい、ということで橋本美穂さんへのインタビューをお送りしました。また続きを、次回かそれ以降にお送りしたいと思いますのでお楽しみに。裏技英語、今日もありがとうございました。バイバイ。
Bye.
Urawaza Eigo. Business English is so hard. Urawaza Eigo. I need an Urawaza.